Welcome to our channel book podcast. Expand your mind and transform your life.
All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving headfirst into Dr. Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural.
Ooh, yes, this one's going to be good.
We're about to unpack how our minds can heal our bodies and maybe even bend reality. So get ready for some wild science, mystical experiences, and just like a whole lot of whoa moments.
Yeah, Dr. Dispenza, he really blends hard science with these incredible stories that totally make you question what's possible,
I know, right? It's like science fiction meets self-help, but like in the best way possible.
Totally.
And we're going to cover it all, from the nitty-gritty science to the mind-blowing case studies, and of course, what it all means for you, the listener.
Because at the end of the day, it's about applying these concepts to our own lives, right?
Absolutely. So to kick things off, let's talk about Anna's story, one of the most powerful examples of transformation in the book.
Oh, Anna's journey. Yeah, it's a real testament to the power of the mind to overcome some seriously tough challenges.
Like, imagine this. You're living what seems like a perfect life in Amsterdam, and then, bam, tragedy strikes.
Yeah, her husband, he takes his own life. It's just devastating.
And for Anna, it was just the beginning of a string of really difficult experiences. She faced financial ruin, a debilitating autoimmune disease that paralyzed her legs, and then, to make things even worse, a toxic relationship that completely drained her.
And if that wasn't enough, she gets diagnosed with esophageal cancer.
Talk about hitting rock bottom.
It's almost like, how much can one person endure,
Right. But here's the amazing part. Instead of giving up, Anna decides to make a radical change. She dives into Dr. Dispenza's teachings and completely transforms her approach to life.
And this is where it gets really interesting because Dr. Dispenza brings in this concept of psychoneuroimmunology, this idea that our thoughts and feelings actually impact our immune system.
So it's like when you're stressed, you're more likely to get sick.
Yeah, exactly. But in Anna's case, she'd been living with this intense trauma and grief for years, keeping her body in a constant state of stress.
So basically, her body was stuck in fight or flight mode all the time.
Yeah, and Dr. Dispenza explains how stress hormones like cortisol, they're helpful in short bursts, but over time, they can really weaken the immune system and make you more susceptible to disease.
It's like, driving with the emergency brake on all the time.
You got it.
So with all that going on, what was the turning point for Anna? How did she go from facing a life-threatening illness to experiencing this incredible recovery?
Well, she goes to one of Dr. Dispenza's workshops and really dives into the meditations he teaches.
And there's this pivotal moment where she's in a deep meditative state and visualizes herself as completely healed, living a joyful life.
And it's not just a fleeting thought. She really embodies the feeling of it, the pure joy of being healthy.
And get this, shortly after that, she goes into remission.
Yeah, it seems almost miraculous, right?
Seriously, like something out of a movie.
But it really speaks to the mind-body connection, this idea that our thoughts and beliefs can literally change our biology.
I'm starting to see how powerful this can be. But how does it actually work? I mean, how can our thoughts actually influence reality? That's where Dr. Dispenza dives into this concept of the quantum field, right?
Yeah, the quantum field, think of it as this realm of infinite possibilities that exists beyond our normal understanding of time and space, like the blueprint for our reality.
Okay, so instead of thinking of reality as fixed and unchanging, we should be thinking of it as this like fluid field of potential that we can actually interact with.
Exactly. And Dr. Dispenza says we can tap into this field through deep meditation.
Like we're tuning our internal radio to a specific frequency.
Yeah, we're aligning our energy with the possibilities we want to manifest.
Makes sense, but it's definitely a mind bender.
Oh, for sure.
And he emphasizes that it's not enough to just think about what we want. We have to feel the emotion of it as if it's already happened.
Yeah, we need to embody that reality.
So it's not just wishful thinking. It's about feeling the joy, the gratitude, the abundance, even before it shows up in the physical world.
Exactly. And that brings us to the blessing of the energy centers meditation, a powerful technique for aligning our energy and intentions.
Okay, energy centers, I'm intrigued.
You might know them as chakras from yoga or other spiritual practices.
Right, those spinning wheels of energy along the sky.
Exactly. Each chakra relates to specific organs, emotions, and levels of consciousness.
And when these energy centers are blocked or imbalanced, it can affect our well-being.
So the blessing of the energy centers is about bringing your attention to each chakra and sending it blessings like love, gratitude, joy, anything that feels good.
It's like giving your internal energy system a spa day.
Totally. Clearing those blockages and creating a harmonious flow throughout your whole system.
And then there's those specific breathing techniques Dr. Dispenza talks about, the ones that can supposedly reprogram ourselves.
Yeah, the breath is super powerful.
I mean, to think that something as simple as breathing can have such a profound effect on our biology, it's just wild.
It's like a bridge between our conscious and subconscious minds.
Okay, before we get too lost in the science of breathing, let's talk about some more of those amazing case studies because there are so many in becoming supernatural that just highlight the power of these methods.
Oh, yeah. There are some truly remarkable stories.
Like Jenny's story, for example, she was dealing with chronic back and leg pain from herniated discs.
Yeah, the pain was so bad she was considering spinal fusion surgery.
I can't even imagine.
But Jenny had attended some of Dr. Dispenza's workshops before, and during one of the meditations, she really focused on releasing the anger she believed was contributing to her pain.
Wow, so she was holding on to anger and it was manifesting as physical pain.
Exactly. And as she surrendered to the meditation, she felt this surge of energy moving up her spine, and the pain just started to dissipate.
No way.
By the end, she could stand and walk without any discomfort.
Seriously. That's incredible.
It's another example of how powerful our thoughts and beliefs can be, even when it comes to physical healing.
Wow. Okay, I am officially blown away. So this is just the beginning of what we're diving into with becoming supernatural, folks.
And as we keep going deeper into becoming supernatural, one thing that really stands out to me is that it's not just about transforming ourselves personally.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It's about expanding our whole understanding of reality. Dr. Dispenza really pushes us to question everything we thought we knew about time, space, the limits of human potential.
Totally. Like, remember when we were talking about the quantum field
Yeah.
that just blows the whole classic physics model out of the water, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're moving from being passive observers to active creators.
Exactly. It's like in that old Newtonian model, we're just stuck in this loop of cause and effect, reacting to the world around us. And, we get trapped in these survival-based thoughts and behaviors.
It's like a tiny boat being tossed around by the waves.
Totally. Just at the mercy of external forces. But in the quantum model, we're not just reacting to the waves, we're actually influencing them.
So we become the creators of our reality.
Precisely. And Dr. Dispenza has this really interesting idea of moving from a state of somebody to nobody.
Okay, nobody. That sounds kind of depressing, doesn't it?
Not at all. It's about transcending the limitations of our ego, those labels we put on ourselves.
Like I'm a doctor, a lawyer, a parent, whatever.
Exactly. When we let go of the need to define ourselves by those things, by our possessions, our achievements, our social status, that's when we really open up to a much bigger experience of reality.
So it's about shedding those layers of identity that keep us feeling small and disconnected.
Right. Super liberating,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But how do we actually make that shift from somebody to nobody? Is it something that just happens overnight?
It definitely takes effort, and a willingness to let go of old patterns. But the key is cultivating presence, being fully in the now.
So when we're not consumed by the past or worried about the future, we tap into a deeper level of awareness.
Right. And this also ties into that concept of oneness that Dr. Dispenza talks about.
Yeah, that we're all interconnected, part of this giant web of life.
Exactly. When we move from somebody to nobody, we're also moving from separation to oneness.
I've had moments where I've felt that deep sense of connection to everything around me. It's an amazing feeling.
It really is.
But how do we cultivate that more consistently? Is it just about meditation?
Meditation is definitely a powerful tool, but it's also about bringing that awareness into our everyday lives, noticing the interconnectedness in everything we do.
So seeing the bigger picture, recognizing that we're all part of this grand cosmic dance.
Exactly. And Dr. Dispenza, he guides us through specific meditations to help us experience this shift in consciousness.
Yeah, and his meditations are really unique, right? They're not just about sitting still and quieting the mind.
Yeah, he incorporates visualizations, breath work, even physical movements.
Like those breathing techniques we talked about before.
Exactly. Those are so powerful for shifting our state of consciousness.
It's amazing how something as simple as breathing can have such a profound effect on our mind and body.
It's like a bridge between the conscious and subconscious, the link between our thoughts and our physical reality.
So cool. Okay, let's talk about some more of those case studies because I'm just blown away by the transformations people are experiencing.
Oh, there's one about Terry that's really powerful. She had this incredible experience during a walking meditation.
Oh, yeah. She talked about feeling this surge of energy that shook her to her core.
It was like an electric charge entering through the crown of her head and flowing down into her heart and then just radiating throughout her whole body.
Wow, and she described it as like years of pent-up emotions just being released.
It was this incredible release, and then this overwhelming sense of self-love washed over her.
It's like she finally came home to herself.
It's a beautiful example of how these experiences can help us reconnect with our true essence.
And what's even more amazing is that these experiences can happen anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, we don't have to go on some big retreat or anything. It's about being open and receptive to the subtle cues and synchronicities that are always happening around us.
Synchronicities, those are so fascinating to me.
Oh, me too.
Those moments where things just seem to perfectly align, like the universe is trying to tell us something.
They're messages from our higher selves, guiding us towards our highest potential.
I love that. It's like we're becoming co-creators with the universe.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about the pineal gland again, because that one's a real mystery to me.
Oh yeah, the third eye. I'm so intrigued by that.
So many ancient traditions see it as a gateway to higher consciousness, a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds.
So it's more than just a gland that regulates our sleep. It's like an antenna that can pick up signals from beyond our normal perception.
Exactly. And Dr. Dispenza says we can activate it through meditation.
Breath work, visualizations, focused attention.
He believes that these practices can even stimulate the pineal gland to produce DMT.
DMT, whoa. The psychedelic molecule. Okay, now we're getting into some really interesting territory.
It is fascinating, right?
So what kind of experiences can we expect? Mystical visions, out-of-body experiences, or is it something more?
It can be about those extraordinary experiences, but it's also about expanding our awareness and connecting with a deeper sense of wisdom and intuition.
So it's not just about having these cool mystical experiences. It's about cultivating a more profound understanding of ourselves and the universe.
Precisely. And as we develop that understanding, we naturally become more compassionate, more loving, more aligned with our purpose.
It's like we're seeing the world through a completely different lens.
And, speaking of seeing the world differently, remember Project Coherence? We were talking about how our collective thoughts and emotions can actually influence the planet.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. How does that even work?
Well, the Heart Math Institute has done all this research showing that the human heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field.
So our hearts are literally radiating energy into the world.
Exactly. And when groups of people come together with a shared intention, their heart fields synchronize, and it creates this powerful wave of coherent energy.
And that energy can actually affect the Earth's magnetic field.
It can. They've done studies showing that collective meditations can influence global events, like reducing violence and promoting peace.
I'm getting chills just thinking about that.
It's pretty amazing, right?
It really is. It's like we're all part of this giant web of energy, and our collective intentions can literally shape the reality we experience.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about healing our bodies, expanding our consciousness, influencing global events. But what about those everyday struggles? Money worries, relationship challenges, that kind of stuff.
Right, those things that we all deal with.
Does becoming supernatural offer any guidance for those areas of life?
I'm glad you brought that up because it does.
It does.
Yeah. Remember Tim's story, how he struggled with financial abundance? It's a perfect example of how we can use these techniques to shift our beliefs and create new realities in any area where we feel stuck.
So it's not just about healing from illness or having these mystical experiences. It's about bringing these principles into our everyday lives to create more joy, abundance, and fulfillment.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we have the power to change our lives from the inside out. And it all starts with becoming aware of our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs.
And making conscious choices that align with the reality we want to create.
This is so inspiring. We've covered so much ground already, but there's still more to explore. All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into becoming supernatural.
I know, right? I feel like my brain is still buzzing from everything we've talked about so far.
Seriously, it's like Dr. Dispenza just opens up this whole new way of looking at the world, And those case studies, those are what really get me.
Yeah, the stories are so powerful.
I mean, they really bring these concepts to life. It's not just theory. It's like, wow, people are actually doing this and experiencing these incredible transformations.
Exactly.
Speaking of incredible transformations, I'd love to hear more about those profound mystical experiences that some people have during the pineal gland meditation. Like, what are those actually like?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's one story that really sticks with me. It's about Janet.
Yeah, yeah.
She had been like searching for this specific mystical experience, this feeling of pure, intense love, but she could never quite reach it.
Right, I remember that.
And then during one of Dr. Dispenza's advanced workshops, she has this breakthrough moment during the pineal gland meditation.
And she describes it as this like brilliant white light illuminating her entire being.
Yeah, it was like 1,000 diamonds shining together, illuminating her down to the cellular level. And then she sees this inverted triangle of light descending from above, merging with the energy of her pineal gland.
Gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
It's such a beautiful example of the connection we can experience when we open ourselves up to something greater.
Like the universe was acknowledging her, saying, you are seen, you are loved.
Exactly.
And it's not just about these spiritual experiences, right? There's also the physical healing aspect.
Oh, absolutely. Remember Stacy's story?
See, Stacy, yes.
Yeah.
She had that meningioma, the tumor that was causing all sorts of problems.
Yeah, and she was facing surgery, but decided to go to one of Dr. Dispenza's workshops instead.
And during the pineal gland meditation, she felt this incredible surge of energy that cleared her sinuses, restored her hearing, and relieved the pressure on her nerves.
Amazing.
It's like her body was responding to the shifts happening in her consciousness.
And this really challenges our conventional understanding of the mind-body connection.
Absolutely. And speaking of challenging conventions, what about that whole concept of time-space versus space-time?
Oh, yeah, that's a real mind bender.
It's like he's saying our perception of time isn't linear, it's fluid and multidimensional.
Exactly. He says when we're stuck in our routines and worries, just everyday life, we're trapped in space-time, this limited three-dimensional view of reality.
Like we're on that hamster wheel going through the same motions day after day.
Yeah, but when we shift our consciousness through meditation, we can access time-space, this realm of infinite possibilities.
Where we're not bound by the constraints of linear time.
Exactly. It's like stepping outside the matrix.
And in that space, we can connect with our future selves, access a higher level of wisdom, even influence the course of events.
Yeah, it's a really powerful idea.
It makes me think of those times when you just have this like flash of insight or intuition about something that hasn't happened yet,
Yeah, like you're tapping into a different level of awareness.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've covered pretty much everything from becoming supernatural.
Yeah, I think so.
From healing to mystical experiences to the nature of time and reality itself.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. I'm leaving this deep dive feeling incredibly inspired.
Me too.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that we're not limited by our past or our current circumstances, We really do have the power to create a new future.
And that's such an important message, especially in the world we're living in today.
I totally agree. Well, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into becoming supernatural.
I hope you enjoyed it.
We'd love to hear your thoughts, so be sure to share your takeaways and any whoa moments you had along the way in the comments.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, keep becoming supernatural.
See ya.